Hi, family. Welcome back to Landline, your direct link to all things comedy, politics, and culture. I'm your host, Janaea Future Khan. Frequent nuisance and menace in the activist and comedy scenes. Let's get dialed in. All right, bet. What's up with Trump? What's up? Guy is guilty. 34, felonies? It's ambitious. It's ambitious. The guy has more felonies than he's got zeros in his bank account at this point. I got to tell you, I've had a lot of people asking me, what does this mean? What do we do? Does this mean he's out of the running? I want to tell you yes. I would love to see that orange bitch move on. But the truth is, his indictment is about as impactful as the C in indictment. You don't even hear it. It's there, but it doesn't matter all that much. Donald Trump is not going anywhere. It doesn't preclude him from running from office. It does nothing to move the needle on the moral compass in the country. And I really hope the Dems do not make the mistake of believing that this thing is won. We lost the moral ground. I say we, I know I'm including the left. I know we have everything from the radicals to the lefties and the fringies and, the Bush types and the queers and the progressives and the Dems. I know, but basically anybody who's anti-Trump, we know that the Democrats have lost the moral ground. And if they try to run a platform suggesting that this is further proof of that, I'm sorry, but we can't get kids in America fed through lunch programs without them going into debt. We have kids getting blown to smithereens in Palestine, and I don't believe we have the moral ground anymore. So what platform are you running on? What finger are you pointing? I'm very concerned about what's happening around Trump, the language around it, the progressives. I saw a meme that was talking about, we had Martha Stewart, Donald Trump, and then Snoop Dogg, and progressives have been making fun of it, being like, only two of these people are felons. I appreciate that. I get the humor. I love the memes. Give it 24-hour cycle, and then I'm kind of over it, because the problem is, what are you actually saying? If we peel the veneer back for 1 second, what you're saying is, felons should not be able to fully engage in a democracy. I'm cool with that, but there's this thing called racism, and there's this thing called injustice, and the problem is, we know the criminal justice system disproportionately impacts black folks. So when you say felons shouldn't get to engage in a democracy, and we know that the war on drugs, which was really the war on poverty that disproportionately imprisoned black and brown folks, that precludes them from fully participating, and in fact, it was literally designed that way. I think the joke's on us. The truth is, for Donald Trump, being a felon doesn't actually change anything in his life. It doesn't impact him in any meaningful way. But when our folks become felons, right? When they are, in dealing with poverty, police brutality, racial profiling, the list goes on, it impacts them for the rest of their life and precludes them from participating in democracy. So I am not interested in that particular brand. I feel like progressives, sometimes y'all stress me out. We can't be friends after 8 p.m. That's all we can't. We can't hit the clubs. We can't joke. We can't get a drink together. Like, I really need us to, get it together a little bit, because we're sounding a bit foolish. And the other thing that's stressing me out, if I'm being honest with you, Donald Trump, that alone, those two words, my God, but he's so much more dangerous than even I want to believe. I wish I could just say, if we got Biden out, or we did, he doesn't have the moral ground, and he doesn't have the moral ground, and we're stuck between a hard rock and a difficult place. I'm trying to come up with something new for an old saying that doesn't hit hard enough, but the truth is, I'm just not that clever. I don't actually know where to go with this, because we got a toothy bitch and an orange one, and neither of them are rising to the occasion. The vast majority of Americans, for the first time, seem to agree on something, which is, we want a ceasefire, and we have a president that cannot deliver that refuses to deliver that, and an administration that supports it, and we have an incoming one which has made very clear that he will increase funding to Israel. And, the other thing is, Trump just says anything to anyone at any time, and it doesn't seem to mean anything. I was watching the UFC, this latest event, Khabib, Nurmagomedov, I got this, hold on, you guys. I only call him Habib and Habibi because I love him.
Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov. Okay? He's, if you don't know who I'm talking about, he's the most dangerous man in the UFC. He's got no neck. He's Muslim. He's actually very beautiful to me. You know, and he's got this dope crew that he trains, but in this event, he goes up to, so he's Muslim. He's very openly pro-Palestine, and he went up to Trump and with love, and he was like, you know, please, like, end this war, and gave him a hug, and Trump says, I'm going to end, he's like, can you end the war in Palestine? And he says, I'm going to end the war, I'm going to end the war, but he won't. You know, what happened when Donald Trump was, I mean, there was a lot that went down when he was in power over the last 4 years, you know, from flooding the courts up and down. You know, we know what's going on in the Supreme Court, but he also made Israel, you know, he empowered them by making and putting the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, which at that time was a very contested spot in Palestine. And, you know, Al-Aqsa is there. It's a very holy place for everyone, but it's especially meaningful to folks from Palestine. It's where Jesus walked. Jesus walked. I walked on those streets. I went to Bethlehem. I went to Jerusalem. I was in Haifa. I went to Rafah, Hebron. I know what it means. And when Trump saw that through and the U.S. Embassy was placed there, it was a massive blow. And it legitimized this like constant encroaching on Palestinian territory that Israel has been doing over the past several decades. I encourage you to go check out a map and actually see what it looks like. It's devastating. So all to say, if Biden, God, I don't even like talking about this, man, but at this point, if Biden wants to break through, tell us what you're going to do. Give us something different. Earn our trust back. Earn the votes. You're not entitled to them because you're better than Trump. Again, I don't think you can say that with your whole chest, as feeble as it is. I don't know that you can. You know, I would love to, I was going to say I would love to support him, but I don't want to see fascism. I also don't want to see this continued genocide. And I'd love if we had an option that empowered that. In the meantime, if you actually want votes and you want to do something better than, well, we're better than the other guy, I mean, is that a compelling campaign to run on? I don't think so. Get the pen to paper, get to writing, let's go, you know? Whew, all right, there's another thing we got to talk about. Speaking of like weak need men. I've had a couple of my homies, you know, cross the gender lines, ask me about Caitlin Clark. And half of them are into sports and half of them are not. I am a sports head. I think when you are born non-binary, you kind of have to be. You need something to talk about, you know. So, you know, remember how it was I'm a tomboy. So that was my thing. I was in sports, but it turns out I fell in love with it, so I follow everything as much as I can, but especially boxing and basketball. And so when I had some non-sports friend asking me, hey, what's going on with Caitlin Clark? Is she getting bullied? I had to stop, pause, and like really do a deep dive. So I've been obviously following this since March Madness and beyond. Let's just be really straight up about something. The framing that Caitlin Clark has been bullied is like more pervasive than even I knew. You got LeBron James weighing in. You got Matt Barnes weighing in. Charles Barkley, friggin' the GM of the Indiana Fever, which is, you know, Caitlin Clark's team. So for those of you who need a little catch up, she's a #1 draft pick from the WNBA, used to play for Iowa. Now she's, you know, in Indiana. And she's a phenom, hands down. She is one of the best ball players to ever do it. When that ball flies through her hand, it's like Steph Curry. She's got sauce, and that's my point. She's a player. Why are we infantilizing a phenom, right? Caitlin Clark does not need to be supported beyond her team. She doesn't need help. She doesn't need any dudes coming out here saying, hey, she needs our protection. First of all, you are not a fan. You are not a fan. This is the W, bitch, all right? Like, I don't know if you know, but they play to win. They do not play for play. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me just break it down for you for a second. Remember when Taurasi said, Phoenix Mercury, she said before Clark even got recruited, hey, you know, she's phenomenal, but When you come to play in the pros, when you go from college to WNBA, you're playing grown women. This is a grown women's game. I've never heard that. She said that with her whole chest. I've only ever heard dudes be like, this is a man's thing. This is a man's sport. When she said that, it clicked for me because I've been to those games. They play to win. It's aggressive. These are large ladies out there. They're very strong. But more than that, they're gifted. They're the best of the best. We only have 12 teams. So each and every spot is the best of the best of the best. That means that even folks who were competing at the highest level of D1 or around the world, they don't all get to make the WNBA. This is the W. You understand what I'm saying? So why are these dudes saying that she needs help? Is this a race thing? This is something that, we always have to ask ourselves. I'm seeing in the discourse, the shade rooms there. It's like just comment after comment after comment. That's kind of annoying and hard to follow, but also very clear. A lot of folks feel like it is, that because Caitlin Clark is white, she's being treated a certain way. And when you see Angel Reese, that it's different. So Angel Reese is, again, a top 10 draft pick. She plays for the Chicago Sky. And here's the facts. Have there been some egregious fouls? Yes. Yes, there have. Caitlin Clark recently, during an inbound, that's like supposed to be the softest moment in the game, during an inbound, somebody from the Sky, Kennedy, Kennedy Carter, okay, hip checks her and she falls to the ground. That's a disgusting move. Also, Kennedy Carter's name starts with CH, not a K. I'm like, that girl's been fighting her whole life, okay? Like, she might be a hater, I don't know. But if she's a hater, then she's on a Kendrick Lamar level. Let's just be really clear. That's a CH, okay? She came out fighting. But at the same time, less than a week ago, I saw Angel Reese literally get body slammed. She got clotheslined. She got choke slammed onto the hard court going up for a rebound. It's a rough sport. If you think back to, Michael Jordan's era, everybody was getting injured all the time. They changed the rules to kind of insulate and protect their pro players. They're franchise players. We don't have those yet, but what this tells you is that the talent is rising at a rate that is nuts. But the thing is, it was happening before Caitlin got there. I want to be clear. She's a tsunami. I'm just saying that the waves were trending that way. Players were getting chartered flights. They were talking about expansion. People were watching more and more WNBA. We love it. When you're in it and you're in the know, you know it's called the W. And the W is not for play. So I can't say it. To me, when I think about, do we want to attach a racial analysis to it? Here's the facts. This is America. This is a racially charged country, whether we want it to be or not. I often think about, is this the best use of our time? So here's the thing. When in the finals of March Madness, you had, Caitlin and Iowa, and they fought and they faced USC, the Gamecocks, which gay. But anyway, Gamecocks, okay? That's one of the best teams to ever do it. Dawn Staley is a black woman head coach. She doesn't make good teams. She makes legacies. The bench is better than most teams you'd find around the world. That's the bench, let alone the starters. Like, she just builds people up. And, she's a Hall of Famer. And really, she trains Hall of Famers. So when USC beat Iowa, it was CNN used Caitlin Clark's face and put that up. That's weird. That's weird. That's a weird thing to do. So, in that moment, everybody online was like, yo, you can't do this. This is ridiculous. Why wouldn't you put these beautiful black women up there? Or hard black women, whatever is the most down and feminist in this moment, I'm not sure. But it was Caitlin Clark's face. So those moments, like, media can really charge these moments and exacerbate it further than it is. But what I need these pro players to do, and what I need all of us to do, is think about, does she need our protection? Everybody's getting roughed up. Yes, there's one person who's getting more attention than others, but to me, I have never in my life heard a pro player, anybody in the NBA, and we know that there's dudes who got beef, being called petty. I've never heard a pro basketball player that's a dude tell another guy he's being bullied. I've never heard cattiness. It's y'all who have the limitations, not these players. Caitlin Clark is a damn good player, but when you have people like LeBron James saying, and other people kind of referencing, he didn't say this explicitly, but a lot of people took this from it. The WNBA should be grateful to her. Should the NBA have been grateful for Steph Curry? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? When we put, like, you are putting your own limitations onto a sport that is growing faster than your 8 brain cells can carry you. Let's do this, y'all. It's about the W, it's about the game. Like, there are other players that we need to be giving our love to. Like, what about Aja Taylor? What about Breanna Stewart? Ionesco? Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner, 6'9", same size as LeBron. If you don't remember, she was out there in Russia for almost a year, 2022, because that's what WNBA players used to have to do. This is a phenomenal moment where, for the first time, we're seeing NIL deals for college athletes. They're coming in with profiles. We didn't get that before, so you have to remember the game is changing, but the society's got to change with it. Otherwise, it's an underservice to the game. It's an underservice to the players. We need to not act like these damn good pro athletes walked off the set of Housewives of Beverly Hills and switched out the Lubus for friggin' Jordans. These are pro athletes. Let's treat them as such. So, although I do want to say something kind of funny. So Brittany Griner, if y'all don't know who I'm talking about, remember 6'9", same size as LeBron James. So she's back on the court now, but she's a superstar, but she is known for being the first woman to be out in the WNBA, to which I say, I don't think that's true. I don't. Point is, right now, this is the good time to get chose, y'all. Okay, like, get out there and go watch some damn good basketball. I don't know, to me, it's the best thing in the world. And you guys are acting kind of weird, all of you weird pundits. I'm like, it's women, and it's sports. It's the two awesome things. Like, I don't know if there's anything more awesome than that combination. So please just enjoy the damn game and stop being weird. There's no bullying, there's no cattiness, there's no pettiness. Y'all are being petty. And honestly, I'm tired of you gossip queens. So keep it moving. That being said, I've done a lot of talking. I want to hear from somebody else. Let's hit a question.
Hi, Future. This is Ed calling from Los Angeles. My question to you is, what are your thoughts about cis-straight creators, for example, Neil Gaiman or Taika Waititi, being vanguards for mainstream queer media? Thanks.
Okay, great question. I will say Taika is too fine to not have dabbled. You can't make Jojo Rabbit and not be a little bit fey. Honestly, this might be my fantasy speaking, because him and Rita Ora are so fine. Hey, look, and Neil Gaiman, I mean, that's too on the nose. I'm going to let that pass. I'll say this. I'm never interested in making people's artistic expression smaller. I'm interested in making ours bigger. I do think that we have this thing where sometimes media and mainstream and the world pays more attention to somebody who is not from that thing when they talk about that thing. But that shouldn't damage or impact or minimize our creative expression. If they're creating inroads, use it. Use it. We're going to take over this. I mean, everything's getting super queer these days. I mean, we got dudes on nail polish. We're on the right track. But I love the question. I want to get to a place, though, where what we make and what we do is free, and without worrying about who else is out there. And I do think we're on that way. So, I appreciate the question. Thanks so much for that. That's it for today, y'all. I just wanted to remind you that our best days are still ahead, no matter how hard it gets. So, with that, thank you so much for listening. Y'all know how we do. It means the world to us. This show, it really is just a labor of love. We deserve so much better than what the right's offering us, and bigotry, and what the left's got us with groupthink. So I just want to let y'all know that new episodes drop on the daily. Find notes with people and points referenced. And look, we're on every platform that's out there, so hit us anytime. Get us with the questions at landlinewithjfk@gmail.com. Shout out to Alyssa and to the Landline team, and shout out to you, the listeners who make it all possible. Love.